Hello, name is Caleb Corville. This is FTH 223 hammer fired pistols for Sonoran Desert Institute. Today I'm going to be using the SAR B6 that I was sent in the mail from Sonoran Desert Institute as a demonstration piece. Let's go ahead and make clear. As you can see, the weapon is clear visually and physically inspect. There is no magazine in. You can see daylight. First, I'm going to do a dry functions check, and what I'm going to be checking for is first off, is this safety working? Safety does work. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger with the safety off. Okay, the trigger does engage the sear properly. I'm going to go ahead and hold down on the trigger as I pull back on the slide to simulate a round being fired and make sure that it resets. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it does reset. I'm also going to pull the trigger again. I'm going to go through this process a couple of times. Alright, put it back on safe. Again, check the trigger. Check the double action, and the double action does work. I'm also going to push back on the slide with the safety on, and it does not push back. So the safety is doing its job, the trigger is doing its job, everything here is working properly. Now we're going to move on to a dummy check, and what that's going to simulate is, well, not simulate, but it's going to test the extraction and the ejection. Okay, I have 3 dummy rounds loaded into the magazine. Go ahead and put this on safe. And what we're going to go ahead and do is check to make sure that the weapon is clear again, just in case. Alright, we're going to go ahead and make sure that magazine sits in there nicely. Magazine release works properly. I'm going to go ahead and rack in a round. Okay, I'm going to check the feeding, and we did feed. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger and hold down on the trigger as I pull out, and it extracted and ejected, and it's going to go ahead and feed. I'm going to reset the trigger, pull the trigger, rack around, or pull the slide back, release the slide. It's going to feed again, and at this point in time it will extract. It is extracting, and it is ejecting. Well, I did it kind of slow there, but it is extracting and ejecting. Okay, and also, a good thing to note, it locked back on the last round. This is very important, especially for defense firearms. Any semi-automatic firearm, it should lock back on the last round. This will allow you to take a new magazine, put it into the well, and get onto that slide release and send another round into the chamber and get ready for more firing, because in the event where you do have to reload and continue engaging a threat, that's very, very important, especially for all you guys that live in California and are limited to 10-round magazines. You will reload a lot more often than the rest of the United States. Alright, and weapon on safe. And we'll move on to part 2. Okay, part 2. Gonna go ahead and do a field stripping of the firearm. Right here, we're gonna go and line up the index points, and on the other side, we're going to push out the magazine release, and then pull the magazine release completely out. We're gonna set that off to the side, and then we're just gonna let that slide, do what it does best, and slide forward. Okay, we have our lower here, our lower assembly, and we have our slide assembly. I'm going to take that apart. Here we have our recoil spring assembly, the guide rod and spring. We have the barrel, and then we have the rest of the slide. Alright, this is a basic field stripping. Right here we have our fire control grouping. Sits down in there, and the trigger arm bars connect back here towards the disconnectors and hammer sear and all that in that housing back here. So there you go, basic field stripping complete. And the sub-assembly functions check. We're going to go ahead and test the trigger and disconnector, as well as the hammer, and make sure that everything is articulating properly. And it does. I'm going to go ahead and pull back on the hammer, and it should maintain its disconnection. Okay, and I'm going to release the trigger and pull back on it. Alright, release trigger again. I'm going to take this back, and it should lock back, and it does. Alright, and everything works properly on. And here's where a function check is really critical. After you get a firearm reassembled, you're going to want to bring it through a functions check all over again. First things first, we make clear. We are clear. Pull the trigger, hold down on the trigger, pull the slide back, and check that reset. Put it on safe, pull the trigger, safety's working. Okay, and now to store the firearm, we go ahead and make sure that that there's no tension on that rear, And this here is the broken down SAR or SAR B6. There were no specific measurements requested, just that they be measured. So I give you all of them. There you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and reassemble the firearm. Okay, and I just finished reassembling this firearm after the detailed strip, and bring it through a functions check one more time. We are, first of all, going to make sure the camera knows that the weapon is clear. I cleared it off camera, but we got to make sure on camera that we've checked. Okay, so I'm going to pull the trigger off of safe, or on safe. Okay, place, and it didn't pull. Alright, and then there you go. Hold down the trigger, pull back on the slide, release for that reset, and take the tension out or decock, and then place the weapon on safe. And we have here a functioning SAR B6. Empty.